Today I thought I would just film a quick video since I'm doing more of this video stuff anyhow, because I wrote this really big long post about the benefits of juicing versus blending. And that's a question that I get all the time. There's a variation of questions that comes around just what's the difference between green juice and green smoothie? Can I make my juice in a blender? And isn't there a lot of waste when you make a green juice, but isn't there a lot of sugar in a smoothie? So a lot of these questions come up, and I think that there's just some general confusion. So I thought I would just put out a post to answer all the questions. So let me start by saying that this green juice, green smoothie trend that has sort of come to, I'd say, in the last 5, maybe 10 years, is one of my favorite health crazes of all, because if you think about health trends that we've had in the past several decades, like margarine over butter, that was a health trend that didn't turn out very well. Like, low fat cookies over, like, all of these things that were like inherently, like, the modernization of processing of foods and whatnot. Like, I am so glad that I get to work in the health space today when I think we are coming full circle and we're going back to where we were. Because if you recall, juicing was pretty hip in the 70s, I think. And now it's cool again, and that's so awesome. But with that brings a lot of questions, and I'm just stoked that I get to work in a place where people are actively seeking out information to eat more fruits and vegetables, because that is my charge in life, is to show people not only A, how easy it is, but B, how good you feel when you do it, and how worth it is to make it a priority in your life. So I think juicing and blending, like, in short, they're both good, and you can do both of them. They require different equipment and different ingredients, kind of ish, and I'll get into that. But because I'm such a big fan of juicing and blending in general, it is one of the 4 key principles of my clean and colorful concept. So clean and colorful is eat clean. So that's getting stuff out of a box and avoiding processed sugar. It is eat all 5 colors every single day. And it is replace 1 meal or snack a day with a juice or a smoothie, and then exercise at least 21 minutes a day, ideally 6 days a week. Like, that's it. That is the foundation of the clean and colorful concept, which started 2.5 years ago when I wrote Color Yourself Skinny, and now has been simplified and made it an even more executable in this clean and colorful concept, which we did last month for the first time, the 21-day challenge, and we're doing it again this month. It starts on Thursday. So registration is at the bottom of this blog post, and I highly suggest you look at it. It is the bargain of the century, and the results that came out of the November challenge were, like, unreal. So anyhow, let's get to the bottom of these questions here. So let's first talk about the difference between juicing and blending. So juices, raw juice, and we're not talking orange juice or cranberry juice or pineapple juice, like raw juice, green juice is made in a juicer. So you'll take a bunch of tough fibrous veggies and you will put them into a machine that only makes juice. It doesn't do anything else. And it really only takes tough fibrous vegetables. You can't throw soft fruit into the blender. You can't put into the juicer. You can't put a banana into the juicer. So what you end up with, what that machine does, there's a variety of different types, but the most popular, because the least expensive, is the centrifuge one, and it will pulverize the vegetable, and it will separate the juice from the fiber and the waste product. So the benefits there are that the fiber is taken out, which is also a pitfall, but for the most part, when it's taken out, the juice is 100% digestible. Like, your body doesn't have to do anything. It is like the most bioavailable substance. So you have, like, free access to raw enzymes, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals, everything that your body needs to do what it needs to do. So if your body doesn't have to do any work to digest it, it's not separating stuff out, it's not breaking down proteins, it's not turning sugar into anything, it's just absorbing vitamins and minerals. It's highly, highly, highly alkalizing. And since it doesn't have to spend time doing all that other work, it can do other things like fight disease, fight aging, build radiance from the inside out. And so this is why when you have a green juice, usually within a couple of minutes, you'll just feel amazing, because your body just sucked up all of the nutrition and, like, put it to work ASAP. It's super awesome. But the pitfall of juicing, then, there's kind of 2. One, the waste, it does suck. Like when you take out your juice and it's amazing and it's great and you drink it and you feel so good, but then you do have like this much fibrous waste. You can do stuff with it. You can make soups, you can make baked goods, you can make stuffing. There's types of things you can do with it, but for the most part, it does feel a little bit wasteful because usually you just throw it away because there's a whole lot more pulp left over than there is juice, and you have to make a lot of muffins to use it all. And the other one is that it takes time. So it can be time consuming to wash all your veggies, chop them. Well, you don't have to chop them much, but like to get them in the juicer and then to clean the juicer because they're kind of like these multi-part things. So it can take, I think I've got mine down to under 10 minutes, but it can take, I should probably time it. But it can take like 15 minutes, especially as you're like learning the ropes and depending on how much you're putting into it. And that can be a huge barrier to a daily habit. And then on the flip side, smoothies are made in the blender. So it depends on what type of blender you have, like what ingredients you'll use in your smoothie, because a lot of us are making these investments in these miracle blenders. So I have a BlendTec. It did cost a small fortune, and I love it. I use it every day for a variety of things, but it has the more power than your standard countertop blender, and it can handle more fibrous veggies. So you can make a more potent green smoothie if you have a high-speed blender. But if you have a regular blender, like you can still make a green smoothie. You'll use some softer fruits, but you can still put spinach and you can still put kale. And then the other advantage to smoothies is that you can put anything in it. Like, so you can add protein powder, you could add Greek yogurt, you could add any kind of superfood, antioxidant powder, anything you wanted, and you can mask a lot of really cool stuff inside a smoothie, and then you drink the entire thing. So there's no waste, which is a perk, and it's easier to clean up, which is a perk. So anytime something's easier to do, then you're more likely to do it, then that's pretty awesome. So that's kind of the difference between like a green juice and a green smoothie. And then they get confused. People confuse them a lot because then I get this question all the time. Because I have a detox program, and then with the clean and colorful concept, people say, can I make the juices in my blender? And I always kind of beat around the bush because I hate to say no, but like really no, because I mean, it depends on what type of ingredients you're using and what type of blender you have. But even if you did have this crazy blender that could take like a juice recipe that had like beets, carrots, and apples, like you could take beets, carrots, and apples and put them in a juicer and get juice. And if you take beets, carrots, and apples and you put them in even a high-speed blender, and if you did have one that could blend them all up, that would be awesome, but you're going to still consume the entire thing. So then that makes it a smoothie and not a juice. So that's the difference. It's not that you would have a similar phytochemical benefit, but you would still have all that fiber, so that would make it not a juice. Does that make sense? And then which is better for you? They're both really good for you, you know? You're just gonna have to weigh the benefits. Like, I think if you wanted to have, like a green juice can be a great way to start the day if you're trying to get off coffee, or that sort of caffeine buzz thing you need in the morning. Green juice can be awesome for that. But also smoothies can be a great way to pack a ton of nutrition into a to-go cup and hit the road with a full meal replacement. So they're both really good. The whole idea is that you want to build a practice around what works for you. Like which flavors do you like the best? What ingredients do you like the best? What works for your lifestyle? If you wanted to get started on juicing, there's a lot more to it than what I just said. I mean, it's pretty simple, but you have to get a juicer and you have to do some recipes. And I have on my blog an entire beginner juice guide series, and there is a link to it in this blog post. I also put a couple links to my like time-saving juice tips. There's a link here to a couple recipes for what you can do with juice pulp. There's a link here to my favorite green smoothie recipe that you can make no matter what type of blender you have. But it could be like a $35 blender from Target, and you can make this green smoothie. And you're gonna feel better when you do. The one thing I will caution with you about store-bought juices and smoothies. So raw juices and smoothies are like super hip, which is great. Like I love that this is a trend that the people are doing. So raw juices are showing up at grocery stores everywhere, and like juice and smoothie bars are popping up everywhere, which is totally cool. It's more accessible. Everyone's gonna eat more vegetables. This is great. The thing is, not everybody is really warmed up to the flavor of a true raw green juice, because it does take a little getting used to. You may or may not know that. So what's happening is that these, the chefs creating these recipes are putting a lot of extra sugar in them by way of fruit and fruit purees, which it's still a naturally occurring fruit, but it's still a simple sugar and it's still calories and it still adds up really quick. So if you're buying a pre-made juice or smoothie, just be really mindful of the ingredients that are in there and check to make sure they're not adding any unnecessary, well, unless you like it, but like if you do like the unnecessary sugar for flavor, then you just need to make sure you're balancing that as part of your day. But a lot of times it's just good without it. It's a matter of getting used to it. So don't let people add in the unnecessary fruit purees like strawberry puree, peach puree. Those show up in a lot of green juices because they make them taste better, but they don't really offer the benefits that you would get from just the green juice. And the same thing with smoothies. If you go to like a Jamba Juice or I don't know, any of the other smoothie places that you can get a smoothie, you just gotta be mindful of what's going in them because you can condense calories pretty quickly and you could roll out of there with something that has like 500 calories in it, but with no protein or fat to make you feel full or to help with muscle growth and repair and all those types of things you need out of your meals. So that's a nice little 10-minute summary of what we're talking about. If you want to figure out how to do this more and you want more support, you want more recipes, and it's not just around juicing and smoothies, but just eating more color and veggies in general, I highly suggest you join the Clean and Colorful Challenge. It starts on Thursday. The link is at the bottom of this blog post. Love to see you in there. We go in there every day and just tips and motivation. And this is a tough time of year in December, so if you can just make a little investment in yourself and little priorities every day, like you'll be amazed at how good you feel when you roll into the new year. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the information. Any questions you have, feel free to shoot me an email or leave a comment in the post, and I hope you have a happy, healthy day. Bye-bye.